Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Well, good afternoon, my beautiful people out there in the ether. It's nice to see you. I'm Poolhorn Betty. We cover true crime, and we are covering the case of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. He was 15 years old when he disappeared on February 26, 2024, and has since turned 16. And we're rolling through the year where he's going to be turning 17 here shortly. And we don't really have a whole lot of information other than the stuff that was provided to us early on in the case. And law enforcement really hasn't done very much more since April of 2024. We haven't seen any investigations going on. We haven't seen any searches going on. It's as if they've put the file away and have called it a day. Now, is that really the reality of this? We will never know, because they don't have any type of training on how to handle a high-profile case of this magnitude, and they're failing miserably in the public realm. So we're going to be addressing a new update. The new update is from At Night Media, At Night Intelligence Agency. And I think that that's kind of where we will start. We're going to kind of backtrack because we've got a lot going on for this show that I have set up. So we're going to be going over predominantly the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. I typically have like starter stories, and we do have starter stories, but I think the conversation related to Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers needs its own show. So we're going to do Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers first, and if we do have time, we will get to the other cases, including updates on Lily and Jack Sullivan. We may have to, depending on our time, have to come back later this evening to finish up this show, and maybe we will direct it more geared toward Lily and Jack Sullivan. But we'll play it by ear and figure out where we are once we get through all of this. So before I do, I want to say good afternoon to everybody. You guys haven't seen me. I had court this morning. It was just basically a cattle call and getting things moving in the right direction for the Illinois case. Other than that, I really don't have an update. There's not really anything to report at this moment. So that's where I was and why we didn't roll out earlier this morning. So Frank, it's nice to see you. Dawn, Lisa, Peggy, hello my loves. Kathleen, Pebbles up in the house. Denise, Melinda, it's nice to see you. Batgirl, human beings have rights. Oh, that's nice. I like that. Sabrina, it's nice to see you. The dog, the J-Dog, it's nice to have you. Sammy. They show the names a little different on this end, and so I'm going to try to read through it. Lori, it's nice to see you. Truth to Power. Me and you. It's nice to see you. Talk to Angels. Hello. Did I say hi to you, Pebbles? If I didn't, good afternoon. Beth, it's nice to see you. The Real Me Too up in the house. Carol, good afternoon. Look who it is. Aletha, it's nice to see you, my love. Little Orange Man, good afternoon. Donna, it's nice to see you. Anna, good afternoon. Melody, it's nice to have you as well. Nat, good afternoon. Deanna, it's nice to see you. Brienne, it's nice to have you. Perfect Pun, it's nice to see you. Brandon, good afternoon. Sonia, our beautiful Sonia up in the house. Dixie, it's nice to see you. Amy, good afternoon. And I think we got through Sharon, it's nice to see you. Sandra, it's nice. Oh, it's me. Oh, it jumped up on me. Here we got some. It's me, Jen. Good afternoon. Kimberly, Laura, Jewel, it's nice to see you. Randa, Haunting Hope. Teresa, it's nice to see you. It's a little weird back here. Erna, I hope we found Sebastian. No, it's not one of those. If it was, it wouldn't been a breaking news update. It would have been breaking news, recovered or something. I wish, but again, we've got a law enforcement that doesn't realize that Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers isn't sitting in their office at Sumner County, and that's a hurdle that we have to try to get over, which we can't overcome without law enforcement actually getting away from their desk and getting out there in search parties. This child's somewhere, and if you look at statistics, this child's within 20 miles of that home. That's what statistics tell us. I don't think they've covered 20 miles from that home. So, they're not doing their job, and it's been almost 2 years. I don't know what else to say except just keep condemning, and hope to God somebody from Hendersonville, Sumner County steps up to the plate and takes the reins and starts advocating for Sebastian and starts advocating to boot the sheriff. We need somebody that has some nuggets to start running and preparing their campaign to take over as sheriff in Sumner County. There are great sheriffs out there. There are great men and women of blue in Sumner County that can do a hell of a lot better of a job than, Sheriff Snuggle Struggles. Okay? Apparently he's scared of the camera. He's not scared of the campaign flyers, but he's scared of the news cameras for some reason. And when he does, and his tenure is up, I'm going to be on that campaign trail because I'm going to be there holding his feet to the fire and asking him what he did for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers' case, because that is going to seal his fate, in my opinion. That's going to seal his fate. He did a poor leadership job on this case. Now, I don't know if that's a trickle-down effect, if he's getting maybe Sonny's, problem children and not knowing how to manage them or handle them, which I don't believe is the case, but we don't know. If you guys haven't been here for a while, I hope you guys look at the new, I'm going to be fixing this little fuzzy thing right here, but I know it has to do with lighting and my green screen. So, but without any other issues, we've been doing really well on this new system. I'm really liking it. I'm really liking the feel, the vibe. It's been a little bit of a learning curve, but because I played on this program once before, I already had some knowledge of it previously. I just couldn't figure out different settings, but it's fairly, it's not overly complicated, but it just takes a little bit of time. And we were very, very upset with StreamYard. We've been working on StreamYard since I started this platform. And they raised their price and started giving us lousy product service. And there's no way you can call and talk to them. There's nothing you can do about it. So we had no other choice. Hey, Twitch, it's nice to see you. We had no other choice. So the breaking news is your new system. Okay, you're obviously not familiar with my rules here. Let me go and make sure I've got these people. So we don't do rudeness here. If you can't handle it, then leave, because I will hide you. I will block you. I don't deal with rude people. This is my show. You either here or you're not here. Patience. Patience. Yes, I like to talk to my audience. My audience is my family, okay? We are a coffee club family. So I just don't come in here and just shovel crap down their throat. I like to say hi. I don't like to be rude. But John, you can sit in the timeout. And if you'd like to be part of this, you can create a new account, or you can reach out to me at Bullhorn Betty and explain to me why you're so damn rude. Maybe I'll unblock you. Just saying. My channel, I can do what I want. So, Sonia, troll, stop writing PHP. Actually, you know what? It might have to do with me. It might be my actual settings. Hold on a second. Let me go to... switch accounts. No, let me just go to my settings. I'll fix this. I probably just forgot to do it. There's still some things, I'm still working out all the kinks, and remembering every step I have to make in order to run this new program. I can tell you one of the things I did make a mistake on is I like to do whatever, synchronize or whatever, calibrate. They have like this wizard in here so you can calibrate and make sure that your system is the correct settings. And for whatever reason, yeah, see, it's open to anyone. There we go. All right. Sorry, mods. Once I get the Nightbot, I think we'll be good. Once I get the Nightbot, I think we'll be good. So let me take this off. There we go. All right. So guys, thanks for coming in, and we do have a lot to go over with Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. I'm not going to really go into too much detail right at this moment. We're going to just read what has been posted from At Night media related to the Sebastian Rogers case. It was just posted by them, and so here we go. Let me go ahead and try to scroll in on that so you guys can see it a little bit bigger. Hopefully you guys can see this. So this is from At Night. It's from today. It's just from a few minutes, a few moments ago, and it says it's for the United States. Let me make sure I still have you guys up. You guys can see it much better. Perfect. There you guys go. And like I said, as you can see, all the tabs above here, that's the show. So we're going to try to get through all those tabs. If we can get through them, we will. If we cannot, we won't. And we'll just save it for later this evening. Maybe around 6:30, we'll do another live and finish the show up. Give everybody a little break and breather. So this is the newest update that we have right now, and it says, today, At Night Creative Intelligence renews its call for the public's help in the search for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. He was 15 when he vanished on February 25th, 2024. He is 16 today. We don't care about politics, parties, or zip codes. We care about a child. When an American child is missing, we close ranks and move as one. At Night is conducting a major facial surveillance sweep aimed at identifying and making direct contact with every individual observed in the vicinity of Sebastian on the night of February 25th, 2024. This operation leverages advanced imaging analytics, public and private camera archives, and coordinated outreach to witnesses. The goal is simple but urgent: to locate, interview, and document each person present in that crucial window, reconstructing every moment and interaction that may hold the key to bring Sebastian home. We won't feed drama, clicks, or courtroom play-by-play. Litigation is handled by a separate division and will not steer field operations. Our mission begins and ends with finding Sebastian. Don't boost profiteers or rumor mills. Boost Sebastian's face and facts. Where we need your eyes. At Night has expanded active intelligence gathering to 3 regions: Chesapeake, Virginia, Springdale, Arkansas, that's interesting, and Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Me personally, I can understand Virginia and South Carolina. I'm a little confused about the Springdale, Arkansas. So this gives us a little area to start, doing some research and seeing where that came. I understand the Virginia and South Carolina. I'm not going to get into those. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. But Springdale, that's a new one for me. So interested in why that one's there. We're not saying Sebastian was or is in these places. We are assembling a complex puzzle from tips and data received since September 4th, 2024. Local memories, photos, and fragment of routine can reveal the thread that ties this case together. Pull that thread, and the picture emerges. What to check? It matters more than you think. Doorbell and security camera archives, February 2024 to present. Dash cams, road share trip logs, hotel receipts, parking records, old phone galleries. Look for unfamiliar faces in the background. Social media posts, marketplace messages, or DMs that felt off at times. And if something nudges your gut, say it. One detail can break this stalemate. 1 year ops update from September 2025, which is next month, and they've been involved since September 4th. But they were involved long before they publicly put their feet in. Nobody just, says, oh, here's a Sebastian Rogers case, let's go public. So they most likely researched this case before they finally publicly supported the efforts to help bring Sebastian home. On the 1-year mark of our dedicated efforts, September 4th, 2025, at night, we'll release a substantial operations update that maps the work to date, manpower, technology, verified corridors, and regions scoured. Public edition, redacted, a fact-based summary of actions taken and areas covered. Official editions, unredacted, transmitted to the U.S. Department of Justice Missing Kids Division with sensitive leads and full technical details. In the spirit of our finest moment as a nation, we ask nothing but your vigilance. Check once more, make the call, send the clip. We will move fast. We will move smart. We will not stop. From cornfields to interstates, cul-de-sacs to city blocks, let's bring Sebastian home. About At Night Creative Intelligence, One World Society Corp., is a private investigative and intelligence organization engaged by Sebastian's father. We operate independently and in coordination with law enforcement to support high-risk missing child cases with field teams, advanced analytics, and national public outreach. At Night continues accepting calls and tips from any country, especially from those in Mexico, Central America, and U.S. port zones. Remain extremely vigilant at airports, bus terminals, border crossings, ferries, and tourist entry points. If you see anything, you may call or text immediately. We urge you to dial 911 if Sebastian is seen, or contact 1-800-CALL-FBI or 800-THE-LOST. So if you guys have any vital information that you want to pass on to Dog and his team, there's the number, 844-922-3236, most wanted at manhunts.one. And of course, they have their new flyers that are up at this moment. Here is one with some new photos of him, some really good facial photos. It's sad because this photo over here, I don't know if you guys can see my screen or not. This photo, you can't see my cursor, good. This photo right here, you know what's so upsetting about that, y'all? Is that's from the surveillance camera. That is from the surveillance camera. Katie took 2 photos sitting at that table that nobody, literally the last frontal photos of this child, and nobody has ever seen those photos. Why? Why hasn't law enforcement released those photos? Those were truly the last photos of him. We watched her take those photos. And Chris Proudfoot, hashtag Chris Proudfoot, he acknowledged being the one to receive those photos. The more and more we look at the footage from the Texas Roadhouse, the more and more I am convinced that there is something going on there. And it's hard not to, because she was acting too suspicious at a time when there should have been no suspicion. She was there to have dinner, yet she's looking around like somebody's watching her. That's what it looked like. Like she's trying to find whoever's supposed to be watching her. It felt as if she knew somebody was going to be there, and she's looking around for them. But I also believe Sebastian did make it home. So now we need to be focusing on that exchange at Katie's car. And the reason why I still can't shake the 3 a.m. stuff. I'm sorry, I just can't. I can't shake the 3 a.m. stuff. Something happened there. If she was going to meet Kathy at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. at the corner store, then again, what was the need for the 3 a.m. car? So there's something with that 3 a.m. car that we need to get in. So now that we're looking at, there is a possibility of this engagement. Seth has said multiple times he knows his wife hates him, but doesn't think she hates him to this level. And he's referring to my theories. And he seems fairly confident about that. So he knows Katie better than I do. I think she's a colossal piece of garbage as a mother, as a human being, period. Because even strangers go searching for strangers' kids, and we can't even get her off her butt to go search for her own blessed kid. You know? We've shed more tears than the mother that gave birth to this child. We tattoo Sebastian's army. We're never going to stop searching for him on our bodies. She tattoos a cross, a memorial cross, as if he's already deceased and gone. So, what... So now, let's look... See, I'm still iffy. We know something isn't right at that Roadhouse Grill. We all feel it. Just the behavior. But even in there, we could explain it. She was looking around. I originally said when I looked at it, because I'm looking at what are their excuses going to be. So the first thing I said is, she's probably going to say she's looking around for a waitress, or looking around for a waitress of some sort. And then, of course, the real Me Too and I went out to eat at that very specific restaurant when we were in town for one of my court hearings, just to get a lay of the land, to find out, how does things go on, what kind of food do they have, what are their wait times, just a whole host of different stuff, and like I said, if I could have gotten in the very same spot that they were in, I would have requested the table, but I couldn't figure out what frickin' table they were at. I think after we sat down and started eating, Karen figured it out, but at the end of the day, we didn't, everything was taken care of. Our silverware was there, our drinks were full. If we wanted to pay for something, we paid at the table. They came back and asked us if we needed any boxes. There was nothing that we had to look around for them for, or I was looking around, but it wasn't for any other purpose than to try to find the cameras that were in that restaurant. Some were noticeable, but they have many cameras in there that you're not seeing. I can tell you that just from what we saw there, because I didn't count or see the cameras at certain angles, and so I have to think that they're more discreet. But I was trying to figure it out. Yeah. Hold on, let me get over here and read. What does it say here? We have video of the 3 a.m. car, not of worships. I have, not of Worshams. I have dismissed Worshams as a main idea. Well, we can't. I think that would be, I think we need to keep Worshams in the back pocket, because so many people came forward identifying Kathy Bowersox being parked in that parking lot way early in the morning, almost a half an hour to 15 minutes to a half an hour before Sebastian was reported missing. So there were over 6 people, one that I personally heard their story myself, and they were all the stories seem very, very similar to one another, even though the people don't even know one another. So I don't know. I don't think Worsham should be taken out because something was going on. And many people witnessed Kathy being there. So, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's poor that we would remove that. It is rumor because obviously we don't have like a trail camera. We don't have any proof that she was in the area. The only way they're going to get the proof is if law enforcement, executes a search warrant and gets her car data. They should have car data back for everybody in the family by now. They have enough probable cause. Well, Tennessee is a messed up state. I mean, we're finding out how truly messed up it is. Like everybody's entitled to a bond for even attempted homicide. Do you really want an artist, an SA'er, or somebody that tried to unalive somebody set free in your neighborhood? That includes child diddlers. I want you guys to consider that. That's the laws in Tennessee. So, I mean, I don't understand what they're doing. I just don't. It doesn't seem like a very strong, tough on crime state. Okay? If they're going to advocate for being tough on crime state, then they actually are going to have to do something in their own state Congress to prove that they're tough on crime, because a lot of these things are misdemeanors or low felonies. They just, remember, upgraded the child diddling from a misdemeanor to a felony as of July in 2025, by the way. In 2025, the state of Tennessee, for the first time, took child diddling and made it from a misdemeanor to a felony. Effective July 1st, 2025. Now, granted, at least they're doing something. That's what we want. We can't complain when they start putting stuff in action, but we can say a day late and dollar short. But then comes Austin Drummond, and now we find out we have another major issue that are putting people in jeopardy in the state of Tennessee. And that's allowing violent criminals to be released out on their streets with law-abiding citizens. I don't know what Tennessee is thinking. I support the governor in Tennessee to a certain extent. But something has got... And Marsha Blackburn, great lady, she's trying to run for governor. Still haven't heard anything on how she's going to start moving the needle, or their congressmen and women, their state senate and house. What are they planning on doing to get tough on crime in Tennessee? Well, I mean, in all fairness, Aletha, we all had lax law policies, okay? I mean, even Florida back in the 80s and 90s, but we had a lot of good old boy systems and corruption. You could pay a judge off in the 90s here in Manatee County. I'm sorry, they can say whatever they want to. I know for a fact you could pay judges off to turn the other cheek in the 90s. So my county personally has faced a lot of the stuff that Tennessee is facing, and it's why I identify it very, very quickly, is because we went through our own stuff, but we did this back in 1990, late 90s, early 2000s in Manatee County, and started trying to clean up some of the stuff. And it's like, Tennessee is just now getting started. So, in all fairness, they're about, if you want me to, it doesn't sound good, and it may be not factually right, but I would take it as mostly right. But the way I'm looking at it is Tennessee's about 20 to 30 years behind Florida in getting tough on crime. That's pretty scary for me. It's scary because prior to true crime, would I be concerned about Tennessee or their policies? Probably not, right? But I care about my community. I care about the citizens of the United States. And when I see something like this in a place that's having a lot of major crime, not just, I mean, we are all having major crime, but breaking news like, where's the word I'm looking for? Why is my brain running blank on me right now? High profile. That's the word I'm looking for. High profile criminal cases. They've had a lot of high profile criminal cases in the state of Tennessee, and none of them have been resolved. They're still all active and ongoing. In the state of Florida, we've had some major high profile crime, and they've already been charged, taken to court, through the trial process, convicted of those crimes, and sent off to prison. Look at Stephen Stearns, the same blessed day of Sebastian Rogers. Both of these kids disappeared on the same day. Look at the difference, the night and day difference between how Florida, my home state, handled the case and how Tennessee handled the case. Guess what? Stephen Stearns has been behind bars within, 72 hours. Stephen Stearns was behind bars here in the state of Florida within 72 hours. Their entire house was forensically searched in less than 12 hours. So, Tennessee can be pissed off at Bullhorn Betty, Sumner County, Mr. Snuggle Struggle Sheriff can do whatever. But I come from a state that knows how to do their job and knows how to do their job well. Are they perfect? Of course not. I don't expect perfect or perfection from my law enforcement. I just hope they don't screw up a case so bad it can't proceed to trial. Ben, why do I have to say that? Because we're all human. I don't put more on my sheriffs than I expect that I expect for myself. I'm a human being. I make mistakes. I anticipate that my law enforcement is going to make mistakes. Just like I anticipate your law enforcement is going to make mistakes. Because there's a human element in all of it. But what we pray is that we've trained our law enforcement officers enough that if they do accidentally screw something up, it's not enough to tank the case. That's it. And so far, our law enforcement does that. Do they do it perfectly? And again, of course not. I would love you to raise your hand. Put them way, way, way up there if you're a perfect being and have never made a mistake. I'm not going to hold my breath because I will be dead. And you know it. There's none of us that are perfect. And this elusiveness of us thinking that our law enforcement is somehow superhuman beings is ridiculous. So lighten up. We give law enforcement a hard time, and in part we should. We should hold them to the highest standards. But we should also be realistic and understand that they make mistakes. How bad are the mistakes in the Sebastian Waindrake Rogers case? I think that needs to be where our focus is. How bad has Sumner County screwed this case up? That needs to be the focus of our conversations. Because I'm starting to believe that a lot of stuff that should have been done at the beginning wasn't. Because law enforcement that should be trained to be skeptical of everything apparently bought hook, line, and sinker into the bullshit the Proudfoots, hashtag Christopher Proudfoot, and hashtag Katie Lynn Proudfoot, sold. And there's not a whole lot that we can do about that. Because usually early on in the process, they come in, they have you sign away all this stuff so they can start immediately looking into your phone systems, immediately start doing the stuff off to your vehicles and all this other stuff. If they were so busy with the searching, they may have failed those steps. And what this does is this forces them now to prove probable cause to get those items because some idiot forgot to go out there and get the sign off from the Proudfoots. And as soon as Christopher got onto that property after 1 o'clock, He shut it all down. He wouldn't let Katie talk to them. He wanted the news crews to get out of the neighborhood, not to focus on his house. He threatened them, much like he threatens everyone with death. That's Chris's MO. He wants to intimidate you and threaten you. Christopher Proudfoot, in my opinion, is a dangerous man. And he was around this child, right here. We have seen him over and over again on things like web sleuths, where he got angry when somebody was completely calm with him because he didn't like how they were talking or what they were saying, and he loses his stuff. Can you imagine what he did to and in front of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, when that's how he acts to perfect strangers that are actually judging him on who he is as a person? And he acts like a flippin' knucklehead? And he doesn't care. He doesn't have a care in the world. Doesn't have a care in the world. So let's go over some of the contradictions. Now, I didn't put my screen up. I'm not putting my screen back up on the behind the scenes, but I am going to be over it because I don't want people seeing where I'm reading this from or what my document looks like. So I'll keep that off here, but I am going to read it. So if you guys have any comments, hold them just for a second. Let me see what we got here. Aw, look at you guys. You guys are so sweet. I missed a lot of you. So Melanie, thank you. Let me give you a little heart there. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Give you some love, Betty. I'm late. Aw. Well, we love you, and you weren't too late. We were chatting a little bit. Erna, I hope we found Sebastian. No. It's me, Jen, gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, please don't forget to tell it's me, Jen. Thank you. And welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Welcome. Or grab your straitjacket and your padded room because you're going to need it. I need a hard surface at this point because I just feel like I'm going to be doing this the rest of the day, right? And Mike, thank you for the flying. I don't even know what that is. Is that a pear? A flying pear? I think that's supposed to be a pear. A blue pear of some sort. I like it anyways. Thank you. Thank you so much. So let's go over some of the contradictions that we have. And the first one we're going to start out with, and I know you guys are going to remember this like it was yesterday, the polygraphs. Have you both taken polygraph tests? And if so, what were the results? Christopher Proudfoot responds, yes. And the results are passed. And then the person responds again and says to Chris Proudfoot, okay, cool. And so then somebody messages them on the Messenger app and says, hey, Chris, so sorry for all this mess. Please take a polygraph voluntarily to put this to rest. Katie took one, so you should too. So what if that, okay, it's hard to read, sorry. What if that asks her question, just tell the truth, you got this, shut these people up. And he writes back, thank you for your concern, yes, I have one scheduled. So there's the proof and the contradictions from the very beginning. He said he passed the polygraph. He said it on the second Duchess channel, that they had both taken the polygraph and they were both passed. If you guys do not believe me and you want to fact find me, get a piece of paper and pencil out. This is on the second Duchess interview with Chris and Katie, and it's at marker 1 minute 45 seconds and 55, I guess, milliseconds. And he states they both took the polygraph and have both passed. And he reconfirms that at exactly 1 hour, 48 minutes, and 0 seconds, stating yes. 37 seconds later, it was asked, did you take one also? And he never answered. So they were really making sure that not only Katie and Chris passed, and he kept saying, yes, we've passed, we passed, we passed, and they asked them the third time. So you took one and you passed, and he never answered again. And then at 1:56, asks about the polygraph be taken again and passed. He didn't specify who, when, but what I can tell you is everything has been vetted completely. Polygraphs have come back as passed. Second interview with Duchess, but whoa, pump the brakes, sister. Because on Nancy Grace, which was after the Duchess interview, at 7 minutes and 52 seconds, he was asked, has he taken a polygraph? And at 8:15, she asked if Katie passed. She says, I did. And then Chris finally acknowledges he did not need one. And that was at 7 minutes and 52 seconds into the Nancy Grace interview or polygraph portion. So now that we get this polygraph, that was the biggest one in my opinion. Web sleuths, did you pass a polygraph? Yes, I sure did. I passed with flying colors, and it was TBI along with another agency that gave it to me. And then, they didn't have to give me the polygraph. I asked for the polygraph. They gave me the polygraph, was a statement that he made. Other interesting statements that were made on the first Duchess interview, he said things like, it's a case to be studied for sure. And this case is extremely unusual. On Smiley Stories World, this is a case that literally has got all of the agencies stumped. Another Smiley's World comment, call him Houdini. He always wanted to be a ninja. Well, he has officially done that because poof, nothing. And you know what the cops have told us, this case will go down as a research study case. Web sleuths, 2 hours in, 2 hours and 16 minutes in. Bizarre case. Yes, it is. Yes, it very much is. Elevated truth, 3 hours, 27 minutes in. Yeah, that was a conversation I had with L.E. And they to themselves, when we had this discussion, was like there's nothing. And when I said, this would be the case that will be studied, yes, it will wind up holding back a laugh. It will wind up being in the books because, once again, we have no leads, nothing. Last time seeing Sebastian, Smiley Stories World. Why did he say he hadn't seen Sebastian since the beginning of February? Because that's the truth. He didn't. He hadn't seen him since the beginning of February. Another statement. He'd been gone since the beginning of February was the last time that he was actually home with Chris. Chris was actually home, and yes, he did see Sebastian when he came home. On Elevated Truth. Just know the last time I saw Sebastian was early February until I came home on the 26th. Best part on chlamydias. Unfortunately, the best part about it is he managed to do this without any evidence left behind. Elevated Truth at 3 hours and 26 minutes. No, I didn't say the best thing about Sebastian's disappearing. Okay, I said it as it stands right now. This boy has vanished and there are no clues. Cameras. Second Duchess at 153, do you have camera footage in your home, CP? That information that we cannot divulge due to the ongoing investigation. On Nancy Grace at 7 minutes 30 seconds. Long pause when asked about burglar alarm and a Ring doorbell cam. Said no, they didn't have one. Chlamydias, 3 hours 42 minutes. When asked about cameras, I did not disclose the information for one. I do not have the clearance from Ellie to discuss those things. They either had cameras or they didn't. It sounds like they had cameras. And I think that has been some of the issues. Let me go back here. Sorry, guys. I'm kind of ignoring you. I'm coming back. To say hi. There we go. The real me too. It's 100 degrees outside. Oh gosh, I went and ran her this morning. I was out there pulling weeds because I just needed to release from court, and it was hot. I think I only got like 3 or 4 weeds before I had to come back in. I didn't accomplish much. I'm really worried about KP and her skill level of NavCom. Hindsight 2002 said she has those earpieces in and she's likely to have some specialized communication going on. It's possible. They're military trained. They've got skill. She's an electrician trained by the Navy. You know, that's significant. I still bet I could probably work around her. I've been doing it since I was 2 years old, digging ditches. I know people are like, 10 years old. I used to hand my dad tools. Sure did. Hey, I knew what a freaking flathead Phillips was as soon as I could talk, I was talking tools. I was raised on the job site. Back in our day, if you weren't in school, you were with one of your parents. Do you know or think anyone sitting near her and Sebastian overheard the conversation? What do you think? It didn't seem like they were having too much of a conversation. She was pretty much on her phone the whole time, looking around suspiciously. But I'm starting to feel like the dual scenario might explain a lot. And what do I mean by the dual scenario? The dual scenario being there's half of our people believe that the Texas Roadhouse is ultra suspicious, right? And they think, like Hindsight Mama Rissa, they've been doing a lot of research. We've had them on the show to talk about the stuff that was at the Texas Roadhouse that they saw. The green hoodie gal, the yellow jacket guy, all the suspicious weirdness that was kind of going on in and around that restaurant that night. But the dual scenario is there's also people like me that believe he made it home because we need to explain the blob carrying the blob out to the car. And I don't believe those blobs, because if it was just clothes or packing up belongings or anything like that, why wouldn't they do that why wouldn't they just pull a car in the garage and put it in the car? I mean, it's clothes. It's not a covert operation. And so it's this weird thing that's going on outside of their house, on the side of their house, that was realized by Nick Barris's, oh, thank you, Patty. I appreciate it. Patty just became the newest member of this crazy family we call the Coffee Club. So grab your straitjacket in your padded room. You're going to need it with this group. But it was the whole situation that was outside of their home that really makes me believe he made it there. So then I started saying, okay, we are seeing some weird behavior at the Texas Roadhouse. I can't dispute that. I don't think anybody can dispute it. Her behavior was weird. If you guys haven't seen it, go to At Night and scroll all the way down and you'll start seeing, or just check the At Night X account and the Texas Roadhouse. You'll see all the footage. They have all the footage rolling. Go check that out. You guys will see it. There's just weird behavior all over the place with Miss Proudfoot there. It seemed very tense. It didn't seem like it. I think this was the shocking moment because we had been told for so many months, almost a year, that this was a normal weekend, that Sebastian had the time of his life, that he had a great weekend. He was out with family. He went to play video games. He went to the Texas Roadhouse to eat a nice dinner. Like, he was, they set this up like this was the best weekend ever. And when we saw the video from inside that Texas Roadhouse, we knew she wasn't being truthful. Because the first act, first of all, they didn't even look happy. The whole scenario inside that inside that restaurant looked pretty stinking intense. You've got Sebastian aggressively shaking his hands, her with her phone kind of, doing this number with it, as if that there was a strong disagreement between her and son. She just kind of slings this menu over to him. Not in a very loving or caring way. Like, I don't think my mother's ever done that. She usually sits it down in front of me very, perfectly. And, tells me to go through and, do I know what I want? Do I know what I want, or do I need a menu? Something like that. Oh, thank you. What do we got here? I've been here a long while, Betty. Membership just lapsed. Aw, well, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate your love and support. I certainly do. I hope you guys are liking the new feel of the show. I've been working on it. So then what would incorporate everything that we're seeing? Everything we're seeing. Hindsight and Mama Rissa and BMW Coop's work. And then the work that some of us believe that he made at home. How do we incorporate those two things together to maybe satisfy both of those worry boxes? And it might be if they go hand in hand. So is it possible? Now, I'm not saying this is factual or anything. These are just questions I'm asking to make your brains think. Is it possible that there was this event to mark Sebastian at the restaurant with the anticipation of collecting him later that night? Could it have been that green hoodie lady had instructions or medications? Some people have said, I think medications was a top contender on what was being passed between the two people. But it appears that there was a 2-minute conversation and some exchange of the sleight of the hands, exchange of something. And I kept saying, everybody kept saying it was medication. And then I'm like, what if it was instructions? What if it was, okay, we see your family now. We know who the target is. Here's the instructions on what we need you to do. These are all the things we need you to collect. These are all the things we need you to get. This is how the process is going to work. If this is a legit which again, there are some businesses that are designed like this for troubled and at-risk youth. It's not the first time we've heard about something like this, and if parents are on board with it, then everything is uppity up and kosher and lawful and legal. So I know there's been some pushback on it because people think it's traumatizing, and I would have to agree that it's traumatizing for the child. But again, when you have an out-of-control child, sometimes you have to do extreme measures. Do I think a program like this is for somebody with Sebastian's medical history and no, absolutely not. Would this be effective? But would this be effective, for a single mom struggling with her teenage child that is being defiant and ruthless out there on the streets, and she's trying to get him under control? Yes. I think something like this, kind of a scared straight type thing, where you're abducted from your bed. Again, as long as it's all done safely, it's all done in the light and transparently with the parents. If they agree with it, then fine. I got nothing. I'm not going to tell somebody else how to parent their child unless they're abusive. But sometimes you got to think outside of the box to get some of these kids under control. So I'm not going to diss that. I know some people have their opinions about that type of program. It may not be suited for you or your family, but it might be suited for somebody in their family, and you shouldn't take that away from them. But if this is this well-oiled machine, maybe they gave them instructions and told them what to do to relax the child so they could be prepared for removal. And maybe that's what happened. And maybe, just maybe, something went terribly and terribly wrong when they got home, which prompted the 3-hour call, which prompted the exodus at 3 o'clock in the morning to act like none of this ever happened. But even if this was a legitimate business doing this, in light of this child missing, they should have come forward and spoke about the operation. If this is an operation that is not in the light, then it's an illegal operation that has to be shut down. Either way you look at it, it needs, that worry box is open, and a lot of people believe that there was a covert operation or sting related to Sebastian at that Texas Roadhouse. And to be honest with you, hindsight and Mama Marissa have brought receipts on why they think that. So it's not like they're just, willy-nilly saying that, they feel there's more here at the Texas Roadhouse. They've spoke to it at length of why they believe that there's something going on at the Texas Roadhouse. And it's hard to dispute some of those factors. Kiki says, I really wish Ellie would treat every missing child as criminal to begin with. I'm sure if this was unintentional and not intentional, which, every day I do pray that the actions I saw in Sebastian's case were just unintentional, and maybe believing, not believing that this could be something that would happen in their community by these type of parents, So I think if it was an ignorance type of situation, I truly believe everybody involved, law enforcement wise, has learned a valuable lesson and probably has learned why we are so stringent on those policies because of what they're dealing with. They'll never admit, they'll never say that we are validated in our anger and our frustration toward the lack of progress in the Sebastian Rogers case. But I'm hoping that everybody involved doesn't just use this as, they use this as a good critical tool, that in the future they don't make these stupid mistakes again. And I pray that the next person that goes missing and their parents could possibly be involved, law enforcement looks at it from a different lens to help protect that child. This one, they failed Sebastian. The whole county failed Sebastian. It's written on the wall. They will never want to admit it. They would rather play the blame game and point the finger at somebody like me, Bullhorn Betty, and say that, we're spreading around misinformation. I'm sorry. I travel all over the country and cover a lot of cases. And we even have a prime example of a similar case, the Soto case from here, Madeline Soto, and Sebastian Rogers, both reported missing on the exact same day. You want to see how good policing is done? And trust me, this is not even from our elite law enforcement body. This is Osceola and Orange County. Okay? So you're kind of comparing a little bit like apples to apples if you ask me, because I am not a fan of Osceola and Orange County. But they did great work when they finally showed up to the job. And I mean that literally, because there was a missing child and it took them almost 6 hours to even go to the house to begin with. Again, they were, I'm not an Osceola, Orange County fan of their policing. And they were still able to run circles around Sumner County. But if you don't believe me, do your factual research. You'll find Madeline Soto as well as Sebastian Waindrake Rogers both disappeared February 26, 2024, and within 72 hours, Stephen Stearns was in jail. Their entire house was forensically checked. They brought an entire forensic unit in within 24 hours. We were scratching our heads to wonder if a forensic unit was ever even brought in for Sebastian's case. We never heard about the blackouts on the windows, which tells me that there was no interior search. Because you cannot do a forensic search without blackouts over the windows. I've watched too many of these type of forensic personally. That means I was literally at the road while they were conducting these forensic searches. In both Brian Koberger's case, I was out front, got it recorded. In Quentin Simon's case, out front, got it recorded. What was it? Audrey Cunningham. We've watched firsthand forensic searches being conducted on residents, on other property, including cars. We've watched it firsthand. So how is it's such a confusion for people in that community to know whether forensics were done? That tells me it was probably not done. Because I've asked multiple times, did you see black plastic bags, or what appear to be black plastic bags covering up the walls, or covering up the windows, or have you seen any blackouts of the windows at all? And all the people that I asked way back when said no. The only person that has ever acknowledged any type of forensic testing is Nick Barris, not law enforcement. I would like to know whether forensics were done. I believe, hopefully, forensics were done. But don't you think the public has a right to know that they were? We're not entitled to the results. But these people in Sumner County think that their taxpayers are their piggy banks and they owe them nothing. They've literally got it in their heads that they're not entitled to anything. That's not true. You have a right to demand information to make sure your law enforcement that you're paying for is doing their job. And you have a right to know whether they're actively investigating a case properly or not. And it's awfully funny that there's a lot of pressure asking them very simple and transparent questions about not Sebastian's technical case, just about their performance that they're failing to answer. I'm sorry, you're not getting paid with my tax dollars to ignore me when there's a freaking high-level case in my community. What is wrong with people? My sheriff would never do that to anybody, and he would never talk to anybody the way that Sheriff Struggles talk to other people. My sheriff doesn't start a conversation out with, are you from my county or not? Because he doesn't care. He treats all the citizens that are here and before him the exact same way, and he should. Eric Craddock doesn't know how to do that. He doesn't know how to be a good sheriff. He doesn't know shit about community policing or proper police or sheriff morale. People don't have to put up with this. And you guys have a right to vote him out of office, and I hope you guys do. I hope you guys do. We don't have to worry about Ray Whitley anymore. We don't have to worry about Lyon Byington. We have two people to worry about right now. Those two people are Eric Craddock and that one judge that doesn't like to read the law. Ron Blanton. He's got to go. He is bad news for that county. And he not only that, but he's miserable. He doesn't like his job. If you're from Sumner County, you need to go and sit in on Judge Blanton's courts. That is one angry judge. And I'm sorry, but my judges, when they're before me or I'm before them, they treat our people here with a little dignity and respect, even when they're frustrated. He doesn't really enjoy his job. If he enjoyed his job and took his job responsibly, he wouldn't treat people beneath him. Or like they're beneath him. So, I'm sorry. I have a problem with that. So now we have some inconsistencies. We even have some leaked calls. And I found it very interesting about the body of people leaking all of these calls. And this was pretty interesting too. all the leaked calls came from very specific people. All of them. And that's a concern for me. Because that's a violation of law. And why is these people getting these types of calls? And you know why? Because I truly believe Seth's PIs violated their license, wouldn't turn over information to Seth, but turned information over to their friendly content creators in violation of their PI license. And I truly believe I can prove that. I truly believe I can prove that. So, anyways, I was hoping we'd get to a lot more. Clearly, we're not getting to a lot more. We will be back later this evening. I'm not sure exactly when. It might be 6:30. It might be 9:30. So if you guys haven't subbed up to the Bullhorn Betty Show, please consider subbing up and turn your notifications on all. Because when I go, I go. I don't know when that time will be. I don't know when it, I know nothing. When I have news to tell you, I go live. Very rarely do I schedule anything on here outside of giving you guys 15 minutes to get here. So if you guys would like to stay up to date with me, go out there, make sure that you're hit on all notifications from Bullhorn Betty or the Bullhorn Betty shows, and we will be back again between 6:30 and 9:30. I can't tell you exactly when, but set your clock. Set your clock. I will be live again because we got a lot to go over related to Lily and Jack Sullivan. Plus we have all these other cases that are pretty bad. They're pretty bad, and I think there's stuff, we'll move right along through them, but it's stuff that you guys need to be aware of all over this country. All over this country. Evil never sleeps, evil never stops, and this is something that we will never ever be without work, because the world is that evil. That's pretty twisted. It only takes one horrible person to wreak havoc on many people's lives. Remember that. Alright guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. And we will be back this evening. That I can guarantee you. You know how I know? Because the show is already done. I just need to get up here and put my beautiful face on the screen. And we gonna roll with it. We're gonna roll with it. So I appreciate you guys all being here. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Yes, we do. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers deserves better than this. He deserves better from his community. From the people, the mom and pops out there. You guys should be holding your politicians' feet to the fire. You really should. If you're not, just remember, this could have been your kid or your family member, and you would have wanted somebody to stand up for you. And if you're not willing to do that for somebody else, that's just sad. That's sad. It's just sad. So I hope there's more people from Sumner County, Hendersonville area that really does start. And I hope you have a little bit of a political punch, because we need somebody with some political, some political capital to come in here and start getting this law enforcement body, just to move. We just need them to move. Move this case. Get a search. Do something. Just do something. And we've been begging and begging and begging, and I know Seth has been begging and begging and begging. He's just given up. I feel like he has just given up on Sumner County. They ain't doing shit for him. They ain't moving the needle one iota. We've asked him all these questions that they failed to answer us, like, were you friends with Christopher Proudfoot or Katie Proudfoot? Is somebody investigating this case that has ties to them? Won't answer. Runs away, hides. We need somebody with a little more political capital. If they haven't been under an IA investigation, maybe they need to be. Because I know for a fact Lyington Byington definitely lied under oath on my affidavit. And it makes me wonder, I'm just a small little fish, too. And she's handled some high-profile cases. And I'm wondering how many of those affidavits did she have no problem lying on or misrepresenting herself on. You guys got some problems in Sumner County. I will tell you that. And I hope somebody heeds that, because there's some information to be had. If you guys are taking Sumner County, your clients are the defendants, I'm telling you, you need to get a hold of those records. Phone records, email records, everything. Get a hold of them. It's pay dirt, especially Lisa Byington's. If she's investigated your case, you have a right to all that, defense attorneys. I'd get it. I'll testify under oath she lied. I've got receipts. I can prove exactly what she lied about. Literally everything. And she did it without a problem. Which tells me she's done it before. A full audit. Bill Lee, bring Doge to Tennessee. I bet you'll be able to pay for your infrastructure item when you get all that waste, fraud, and abuse out of your state. Be a DeSantis. If you guys want DeSantis, you guys can have him. I'm not going to be voting for him. I appreciate his policies. I appreciate what he's doing, but he pissed me off. I'm not voting for him. I'm going to be absolutely campaigning against Governor DeSantis. I want Byron Donalds as my governor, and I'm going to be fighting tooth and nail to get him in that position if he wants it. Byron Donalds, and followed by Matt Gaetz. Those are the two people that I will throw every ounce of my support behind, but I want Byron Donalds. I want Byron Donalds to be the next Florida governor. And you guys don't know how tenacious I am with getting it. He does rock. He's my dog. I love him. I swear I love him. So I've had, I've been in the political realm. Byron Donalds has been an upcoming. I remember one of the very first SASs I went to, him and his wife were walking through the corridor, and I remember sticking my head over that thing, and it's like, Byron Donalds is going to be our next governor! Woo, 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 woo! And that was like almost a decade ago. Okay? So, I've been patient. I sure have. I've been patient. So now it's time to get my guy in. So we gonna be working on that. I'm just saying, not playing. Justice for all, the missing and Bower Sox and Proudfoot show guilt, silence, and are responsible for Sebastian's disappearance. Love you all here in the chat. Just had a thumb bone removed. Oh no. So hard to type. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, cowgirl. Big hug and kiss. Big hug and kiss. FBI 202. Hey, Seth. Nice to see you, my love. 202-324-3000, option 6. So he's given us a path forward. We need to be calling these people. We need to be, stirring this stuff up. We need to be stirring this stuff up. We need to find ways to apply pressure to the investigators. Enough's enough. Playtime's over. We need effective resolutions. So I don't know where it's all going to go, but we keep fighting. We keep fighting. We've got to start strategizing soon. Something's got to give here. Okay? I'm telling you guys, by the day, we're getting further and further away from the goal. So we need kind of back to all hands on decks on this case. Where do we go from here? You guys start sending me your ideas, your thoughts. I know we want to do this event. I don't know. This event sounds like it's going to cost a lot of money. Okay? And I'm trying right now with the courts. I don't mind, bearing some of those expenses, but not when I have, court and attorneys that I still have to pay. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm hoping to get some issues. They're going to be wanting general liability insurance if we're going to be bringing this, okay? And in order for me to do that, I either have to set up a corporation, borrow a corporation, or borrow a nonprofit to help that would be willing to take on the responsibility of the event, from a legal and financial point. Typically, we would do that, but again, if it wasn't going to be the type of production that I want, and it being at the government, we can do anything a lot cheaper. We just won't be able to do it at the governor's mansion. We can do it on the outside of the governor's mansion and just do a demonstration, or we can go in there and do an event. I think that needs to be something that we talk about. But if we're doing an event, it's going to be very costly, and it's not something that I am willing to do right at this moment. I think the event would be more exposure, and I think the event would get more attention than the demonstration. But that's where I'm at right now, is if it wasn't for the liability, if we could find a way around the liability, I think we might be able to proceed forward. So that's where the hiccup's been. Everybody, I've been kind of keeping that under wraps just to make sure what I'm reading, but it looks like we're going to have the financial costs of the liability for the event on the governor's grounds. I want to do it. It's just that, I'm a budget person in a time and a place, and I'm looking at everything that's going on in my personal life, and I'm saying, I don't want to bite off too much. You know what I'm saying? And that's where we're at right now. So if we can find some resolutions or some ways to move past that, or maybe some ideas outside of the box, we might be able to get something together. You guys know I wanted to get it all rolled out by February, and I think we should have at least at minimum a demonstration in February in Sebastian's honor. But we have to try to figure this out. But the event that I'm talking about is going to cost me $10,000 probably at the low of it. And again, it's not the first time we've spent some significant money. We spent about that amount of money covering the Idaho 4. So we're willing to do it, but it's got to have some type of, not like return on investment in the sense that I want, money back. It's in return on investment, as in if we're going to spend $10,000, we need people out there and those resources being given out to people. We want to make sure that the money is not just poorly spent. We want to have the biggest bang for our buck. And, this is going to, the longer it goes, the stronger suspicion, actions of malfeasance by the Sumner County grows. Yeah. And we're already there. I mean, we're coming up on 2 years. I mean, the West case, which had no bodies. The West case in California, of all places, California. Definitely not a tough on crime state. I mean, from where I stand. Not to be disrespectful to my California friends and family. And yes, I do have family from California. But they had no body cases, the West boys, and they were able to make a case. They were able to get this to the finish line in 14 or 16 months. And here we are rolling around past 18 months, and we still feel like we have our own law enforcement with our thumbs up their butts. It's hard. And I think they're intentionally doing this to Seth. I really do. I think they're intentionally doing this to Seth. And I don't think it's going to stop until we make it stop. Or I don't think it's going to be solved until we make them solve it. This law enforcement body, they don't want anybody in the business, but or out there in their business, but they're not willing to do it. It's going to take a regular person, much like what we've seen in Giovanni Pelletier's case. The family's got to go out there and start doing what needs to be done. And Seth has. We've watched Seth do everything by himself without the help of Katie or Chris. They've helped with nothing. All they've helped was turn this case from a sad story into a shit show. Because Chris and Katie are pieces of shit. And I will stand loud and proud on that. And I'm not praying for forgiveness on Sunday either. Because it's exactly what I stand behind. They are. They are. Sebastian deserves more than he's getting from his community. He deserves more than what he's getting from his sheriff's department. He deserves more than what he's getting here on social media. He deserves more. He deserves better. Again, we got that FBI 202-324-3000, option 6. Anyways, guys, send some information to me. Where do you think we should, what do you think would be the most impactful and the one that will maybe inspire law enforcement to act. Inspire law enforcement to re-engage in this case. Inspire law enforcement to find a new set of eyes, maybe a green. You'd be surprised what you get from green deputies. You know, people trying to prove themselves. You'll be surprised. I mean, how do you think Joe Kenda got? I mean, one of the most prolific Colorado homicide detectives in our time, Joe Kenda. How do you think he started? He was a beat cop. And it all started with a shooting in a convenience store, and him getting this piece, and next thing you know, he ends up being this amazing detective. We need to find one of those in Sumner County. We need to find one of those in Sumner County, that Sumner County will bring some fresh eyes and tell them to look at the case and run with it. Believe it or not, I think some of those green deputies or green detectives think more outside of the box than some of those seasoned ones. Sometimes you're too seasoned, and that brings a level of arrogance into a case, especially a difficult case, and then you're looking at it all wrong because you know exactly how you need to look at it because you're too much in that box. Bring in somebody new, somebody fresh, somebody green. See where they go with it. Why not? Sounds like Sumner County needs to hire younger and cheaper sheriffs because they just got $200 million ripped from their budget. And I'm, for me, I'm going after our property taxes here. So, and we need some Kentucky people. We're going to be getting some campaigning and some small groups going on in Kentucky. So, which is going to be advocating for tougher crimes or tougher penalties on crimes in Kentucky. But it's really to get Mitch McConnell out. I won't lie to you. So if you guys are up with my politics, or you guys agree with it and you want to help me, then reach out to me, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. God bless, guys, and we'll see you later this evening.